The bunny hop is one of the most useful and important skills that you can learn on your mountain bike, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to bunny hop the easy way on any bike. I would describe the bunny hop as a basic mountain bike skill. When you've got it dialed, it comes in very handy when you're out on the trail, when you're street riding, in the skate park, or even hitting jumps. And today I'm going to be teaching you how to bunny hop the easy way. And after this video, if you go out and practice, get the bunny hop dialed, you'll instantly notice a progression within your riding. Before we go and learn the bunny hop, there's a few things that we need to get right, and the first of those being your location. Ideally, you want a flat, smooth car park. Try to avoid grass because it can be bumpy and this can really affect the pop and the timing, making the bunny hop difficult. The ideal bike setup for a bunny hop then is to set your bike up stiff by firstly pumping up your tyres and setting your suspension basically solid. If you have a soft bike, all your movements get sucked up by the tyres and the suspension, whereas with a stiff bike, all the movements that you put into the bike are very direct and therefore have a positive impact on your bunny hop. It's also very important to make sure that your seat is in its lowest setting possible, because it's only going to get in the way, mean that you can't hop as high, and it could even make you crash. For learning, it's probably easier on a hardtail, which is why I'm about to switch to my jump bike. It's now time to learn the bunny hop then, and the first thing that we must perfect is lifting the front wheel off the ground. This is an essential skill on a bike, and it is so important when learning to bunny hop. First of all then, you're going to ride along at a slow to medium speed in the attack position, and make sure that you cover the rear brake, as this will stop you flipping off the back of the bike. Then slightly push your weight towards the front before pulling on the bars, and at the same time pushing with your feet and transferring your weight towards the back of the bike, aiming to sit in line with the rear axle. I describe the weight transfer as throwing yourself back in the sofa after you've had a long day at work, because it's basically the same motion. If you do these three movements correctly, pulling on the bars, pushing with your feet and transferring your weight back, the front wheel is going to shoot up, and that is why you cover the rear brake, because if you're going to crash, you can pull the rear brake and that will slam the front wheel back down, preventing you from falling back there somewhere. Before moving on to the next step, it's really important to get this dialed, and the best way to do that is just do laps of the car park, but make sure between attempts you give yourself plenty of time to get back into the attack position. If you're struggling with lifting the wheel, before you even get started, you can actually practice the motion on the floor. Just leave your back foot on the ground, your front foot on the pedal, and stood there you can sort of feel and understand the pulling with your arms and pushing with your feet motion if you keep your weight back. The next step then is learning how to lift the rear wheel only off the ground, and it's actually much easier than you would think. It's a combination between curling your toes, pushing your feet back and scooping the back of the bike off the ground. And once again, the perfect way to learn this is stationary. This time then, you're going to place your back foot onto the pedal and make sure the pedal is at the bottom of the stroke, and leave your front foot off the bike, holding you up nice and stable. I would also recommend locking the rear brake. First of all, you must curl your toes, as this allows you to now push against the pedal and then in one smooth motion scoop the bike up. Lifting the rear wheel is a combination of curling, pushing and scooping in that order, and when it's done in one smooth motion, this allows the back wheel to be lifted off the ground. It's now time to try this whilst moving. So like lifting the front wheel, you're going to roll in at a slow to medium speed whilst in the attack position, and like we just learned on the ground, you're going to curl those feet, push back into the pedals and then scoop the back of the bike. This will lift the rear wheel into the air and keep the front wheel on the ground. Once again, the more you practice this, it is only going to make the next step easier, so get those laps of the car park under your belt. And I would also say that once you get really comfortable with it, you can also start to lift the front wheel at the same time. This isn't the correct way to bunny hop, but it will get you familiar with lifting the bike into the air, which is the next step that we're going to be taking a look at. The bunny hop then is just simply a combination of lifting the front wheel off the ground, then the back wheel, and transferring your weight forward, all at the perfect time. So at this stage, you're actually well on your way to learning the bunny hop. For the bunny hop then, roll in at a medium speed and once again make sure you're in the attack position. And the first thing that we're going to do is aim to lift the front wheel around 2 feet off the ground. And as it reaches this height, it's now time to lift the rear wheel using the technique that we just learned. And as the back wheel comes off the ground, that is when you start to transfer your weight back to the center of the bike, aiming to lift it high enough to the point where the bike is level in the air. And if all these steps are done correctly with the perfect timing, you would have just completed the bunny hop. Whilst you're in the air and at the peak of your bunny hop, it's important to aim for your body weight to be central on the bike and for the bike to be level, because this way you can prepare for a perfect two-wheel landing in which you want to make sure you absorb the landing by bending your knees and your elbows. You never in any case want to land on the front wheel. This is strictly forbidden, and it would happen because you might not have pulled the front up high enough, but you've transferred your weight forward too quick, so you've created the bike to go forward. Likewise, you also don't want to land too far on the back wheel, as this could result in a loss of control and potentially a crash. Landing on the back wheel would happen because you've pulled up the front too hard and not lifted the back up to match. Simply put then, try to make sure your lifting of the front wheel and the rear wheel is getting the same amount of effort, because this is going to create a very equal and even bunny hop. There we have it then, you now have the basic bunny hop dialed, and it's now time to do huge ones, which is actually relatively simple. To go higher then, you simply do exactly the same technique but exaggerate it and apply more power. So you can ride in at a faster pace, and you want to focus on lifting the front wheel higher off the ground by pulling harder on the bars, because the higher the front wheel means when you level the back out by scooping the rear of the bike, the whole bike will be higher off the ground. This time when you scoop the rear of the bike to pick it up off the ground, try jumping exactly as you would on the ground if you were standing on your feet, as this will help to drive the bike up. Also, when you transfer your weight to the center of the bike, try and tuck the bike up as high as possible into your body, as this will naturally lift the bike a little bit higher. And this is why it's important to keep your seat low, because it'll basically just keep it out of the way. This bunny hop technique works across all different types of bikes. It's just a case of realizing how the different styles of bikes react, whether they've got more suspension, whether they're heavier bikes. It's just a case of adapting your technique with more or less effort depending on how the bike is reacting. I'm now going to show you how to bunny hop over an object, then eventually onto an object. And like the bunny hop so far, it's all about timing and breaking it down. So first of all, in the car park, you want to find yourself a line or a marking on the floor, and the first thing we're going to do is actually just ride up to it, lift the front wheel over, then practice just lifting the back wheel over, which is the start to bunny hopping over an object, but it's actually a useful skill on the trail in itself. Next up then, it's time to attempt the bunny hop. Now, if you've got the bunny hop dialed and what we just learned, lifting the front and back wheel dialed, then this should be quite a simple step, and then you should be ready to try on an object. So first of all, find yourself something like a trusty old stick, and you can practice jumping over that. Once again, it's pretty low consequence, and as you build more confidence, you can make those objects bigger and more challenging. When it comes to jumping onto an object, the go-to feature has to be a curb. It's very small and low consequence. And this time, when you're jumping onto a feature, you can actually land front wheel first, and this will make it slightly easier. Just remember, if the object has very square edges and your back wheel cases it, there's a good chance you could end up with a snake bite and potentially damaging your bike. So just make sure that you build up and jump onto objects that are within your comfort zone. There we have it then. That is my how to bunny hop broken down and hopefully explained nice and simple, so you can go away and learn this skill. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shoot tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a